We are doing our best here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, to bring you Clemson and LSU angles from every conceivable angle. Therefore, we also go to Bobby Dirkens. Bobby, there's the introduction I've got for you today, Bobby. How you doing?
Lord, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm raring to go. I'm ready to run. I don't know where we're running to, probably down to New Orleans, but I'm ready to go. Good to see you, Mark. Thanks for having me on here.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way. Got to talk to you before the big game. Got to. Just have to get it done.
Of course. Of course.
So you're going to run down to New Orleans. If that's what it takes, you're going to run all the way down to the bayou. Barefoot
or crawling on glass, on shards of glass on fire. I'm ready to go. I'd do anything for this. Tell you right now, I feel like I went down to Miami and snorted some of that booger sugar, if you know what I'm talking about. That's how fired up I am.
Be careful.
I'm fired up.
Do you need anything in addition to whatever fuels you the rest of the time to get? Do you need to get any more fired up, Bobby?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm going to tell you right now. When I go to bed, I'm fired up. When I wake up, I'm fired up. When I'm tired, I'm more fired up than everybody else. So of course I'm ready to go. Thank you so much for having me on here. So I'm telling you, how about that game with Ohio State, Mark? Lord. I fixed my drawers about twice during that 16-0 run. In fact,
information.
You've been kind enough to let me on here. You let me share my heart and stuff. Went to the bathroom. It was 16-0. Had to do number 2. All of a sudden, I see red in the toilet. I think that this deficit has got to my bowel system. Then it hit me. I ate a bunch of red velvet cake earlier that day. It was just a food coloring. So I ended up being fine. Our team ended up winning. It was good.
You can't get enough of red velvet cake during the holidays.
Oh, of course not.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
Do you have an issue with playing in LSU's backyard for this championship game? Doesn't seem too fair.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I reach across the aisle. Stick my hand out to LSU. Now, my hand's not clean. I haven't washed it in a while, so that's kind of the backside of it. But this is a magical season for them. They have done great things. I like Ed Orgeron. Everybody knows on my channel, I got my Ed Orgeron videos. I like them. I like the Burrow story. It's a great story. But I do not feel like I have a different look on it. We are in their backyard, so it is almost a home game for them, basically. It's a good story, them being in the first national championship in, 12 years, and it's in New Orleans. But my take on it is this is our 5th consecutive college football playoff. 2nd year in a row, we're in the national championship. We're looking for 3 out of 4. So though we're geographically, and that's a new word I learned, in their area, we are right at home in the college football playoff. We've been playing there for half a decade, Mark.
Bobby, it's nice to hear that you're really honing your craft. You're expanding your vocabulary. You're really honing your craft here.
I'm trying. Let me tell you this. I know I look like I might be the type to have kissed my cousin. I did. She was 3rd cousins, and the Bible said, way back there in Exodus, when they were making all those weird rules and stuff, you could date 3rd cousins. But until her daddy, my uncle, ruined it, everything was good. But even though I do look like that type, I am a refined Southern man.
Absolutely. I would have never thought it any other way. And certainly if it allows it in the good book, then we can go right ahead with that. There's no issue there.
Absolutely.
You've got a bit of a rivalry in terms of home field mantras. Don't mean to throw another word at you that you may not be able to digest. The name of the home field there at LSU, they tend to call that Death Valley as well.
Yeah.
Death Valley versus Death Valley, and there's been a bit of a debate back and forth on it. Who has the real Death Valley?
Well, I don't know years and timelines, but I know the feeling I get when I go to Clemson's Death Valley. It's kind of like I can remember this. I was about 9 months old, and my mama shook me as a baby. And that's part of the reason I am the way I am today. I'm fired up, you know. But that's the way I feel. I feel like my mama's shaking me all over again. trying to get me to shut up. But in this case, we're cheering for the Tigers, Mark. And we have the real Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina, nestled beside Lake Hartwell. Off in the distance, it's like God painted a little picture with a Clemson angel. We got Blue Ridge Mountains in the back. I mean, heck, you can even see bear and deer running clear across them mountains. And if you get on the right winter day, even a little snow, it almost looks like old people sitting out there with the snow on top of their hair. It's good. We have the real Death Valley, Mark.
So you're kind of enticing me to come down to Clemson, South Carolina at some point. I've never been there. I should get down there for a game. I should get down there maybe for a little hiking and sightseeing, it sounds.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this. I'll help you shoot a deer, and we will dress that sucker live on Mark Rogers. Talk with Mark Rogers. You just might want to make sure that all the kids ain't watching, because how we have to start off, pretty gruesome.
That would be quite the show. That would be a little deviation off of my normal path there, talking some college football.
Whole new viewership, my friend.
Yeah. Bobby, we talked about this the first time you came on, but I don't recall now. How long have you been a Clemson fan?
Lord, as long as I can remember. I remember my mom and dad painting our hallway. And I was like 3 or 4 years old, and they were listening to the Clemson-Carolina game, and I've been a Clemson fan for years. My mom and dad raised me on Jesus and on Clemson, and I have not departed from either. And I've been a Clemson fan for many years. There are a lot of people who say stuff to me like, hey, you just showed up out of the blue once they were good. Well, I'm sorry, you douchebag. I just decided to get on here whenever I could. Didn't have a planning or a timing or a thinking of it. Just got on here. Just happened to be while Deshaun Watson was running things at Clemson. But I've been pulling for them during the Danny Ford years. Unfortunately, during the Ken Hatfield, Tommy West, and Tommy Bowden years, I'm telling you, ulcers nearly ate out the line of my stomach during all of those years. Even as a child, my farts really stunk then because, the sickness and stuff. But I tell you what, Sweeney took over. Whew, Lord, it's like getting a whole new lining in your stomach, which actually a medical procedure did that for me. But I've been pulling for them for years.
Now, Bobby, I may need to check on this, but I think we've reached the quota on intestinal quotes and references. I think we possibly reached that.
Do you know that I have realized that other people has quotas when it comes to that stuff, and I don't. But I'll try to apply. That's a new one. Apply a quota to myself just because I'm on your good show.
Well, we appreciate it. So you've got some fine allegiances there, Clemson football and Jesus, and have not departed from either one. Mm-hmm. So this just has to be a dream come true when you talk about 5 consecutive playoffs and winning national championships based on how you grew up with a good football program, but a lot of letdowns for many, many years. And now you just bask in the glory.
Every now and again, I'll pull my truck over on the side of the road while I'm driving to work. I got Legs by ZZ Top playing in the background, and I'll turn it down. I'll pull over on the side of the road, get out. People think I'm suicidal, but I'm not. I get down on I've done this, and just praise the Lord for Clemson football and what they're doing right now. Do you realize how many years they're keeping added on to my life by them playing good and me not worrying? If you meet me in person, there's one gray hair in my head, and that's from my kids. By the way, hey, unless your hand's in boiling water, stop screaming. I'm sorry, I don't know where they get it from. I don't. My kids. I'm sorry, but they're kids.
They picked it up somewhere.
Yeah, I know. It's your mama's side of the family, but the truth is, it's just really good. It's the time to be thankful to be a Clemson Tiger fan.
And extending your life. I'm glad to know that these championships and all the winning is extending your lifespan because, as you just mentioned, the Tommy West and the Tommy Bowdens and the Danny Fords, they took a few years away.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Tommy West and Tommy Bowden years, there was people don't believe me. During those years, there was actually times that people were seen jumping off the upper deck at Death Valley to just be put out of misery. It was that bad. And I wish they hadn't have done it because they'd seen the Dabo years, but I understand why. I mean, you can only get beat by Wake Forest so much until, if the administration's not going to go make a good hire, you might as well just go ahead and end it all. So it's been a rough road, but happy to be here today.
We got Bobby Dirkens on the line. You can catch him right here on YouTube. So we got the name up here during most of the video segment to let you know exactly where you can find him. Bobby Dirkens right here on YouTube. So have you seen LSU play much football this year?
I have watched almost every game that they have played. I'm serious. I have. Now, I didn't watch them when they played Northwestern State. I didn't even know that was a thing. But I watched especially all the big games. Obviously saw that I was pulling for them against Alabama. So they won that game. I watched them play against Ole Miss. That was a scary game for them. I watched them play against Auburn. I almost lost that ball game. And then they go out and they blow out A&M and Arkansas, and they blew out a lot of teams. They got a lot of good stats going for them right now. A lot of talent on their side, and I can tell you right now, just looking, and I'll go ahead and tell you. I got my laptop right here. My wife got it for me. She's actually got a picture of her and the kids on there. That was our background. She got mad when I replaced it with Sweeney, but she just has to understand. But I got my laptop right here. And, you look at these stats, Mark. These youngins have been doing some balling now. I mean, 5,200 yards counting the playoff game for Burrow, 1,300 for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has one of those hyphenated names. I've always wanted a hyphenated name.
It's fancy.
Like Bobby Dirkens, Earnhardt Jr. Martingale or something. I don't know. Then Jamar Chase, he was a 2-star coming out of high school from what I can remember. Look what he's doing. Almost 1,600 yards of production. He caught, 4 touchdowns in that joke of the game against Oklahoma. Then we got Jacob Phillips, linebacker. That guy right there, he's punching out over 100 tackles. And then one of the stories I really like, Derek Stingley Jr. He's a junior. I got Bobby Dirkens Jr., Bobby Dirkens Jr. This guy has 6 interceptions on the season. You know how hard that – have you ever intercepted 6 passes before, Mark?
I have not personally, no.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, me neither, but I imagine it's quite hard. He's done it. If you talk to a Clemson fan who is not drunk or mentally incapacitated, you'll find out they have a lot of respect for LSU. I do. I like Ed Orgeron, and I think that this is a great game between two of the biggest personalities in all of college football. You got Dabo Swinney over here, who's just ranting and raving. I think he piss excellence. And then you got Ed Orgeron over here. Lord, he's ready to go do God knows what, anywhere, anytime. I like that, man.
Yeah, I was just talking to some LSU guys, and we kind of pinpointed that, you've got Alabama, Ohio State, those 2 programs in particular. Not a whole lot of people across the nation, unless you root for that specific program, are too happy with Ohio State and Alabama. You generally just, everybody's rooting against them. It has something to do maybe with the head coach, not with Ryan Day, but obviously Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, but also has to do with the fan base just thinking we're number one, we're the best, nobody's as good as us. Then you got Michigan because of ancient history, their fans being a bit uppity, and Notre Dame the same. They haven't won anything recently, but their fan base feeling a bit uppity about their tradition and in history. This is a bit of a feel-good story, I guess you could say, considering that the coaches seem like good guys that you would love to have a beverage with, and the programs being, really, really strong, really good programs for a long time, but not necessarily the kind of programs that look down on everybody else. So it doesn't seem like there's too many people out there necessarily rooting against either one of these programs.
No, I mean, you make a great point there. I mean, my God, when was the last time that Michigan was good? That was so long ago. That's when people thought Stalin was a good guy. I mean, it's been a while. But you turn around, you look at Clemson and LSU. It's the feel-good story of 2 guys who, at times, you got the underdog of Dabo Swinney, growing up, rough home life. I mean, my guy, while he was at Alabama, his mom even had to move into his dorm room. He was a walk-on. Turns around, does all these great things, had to come through a bunch of hardship. Heck, he was even out of coaching for a while and come back in. turn around and look at Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron was the interim coach at 2 major universities, 2 years in a row? And USC didn't want him. And I'm going to stop right here and say, Southern Cal, how's that shoe fitting on your foot right now? It looks pretty bad to me. You should have stuck with Ed, but I think it's a beautiful story because Ed goes down there. He has a vested interest. That's another term I learned. In Louisiana. He loves them. That man right there, he drinks bayou water. And you and I would get deathly sick. Him, it just peps him up. 2 great stories. We love it. It's amazing. It's great.
I'll have to take note of that for some reason, Stalin's reputation has taken a bit of a hit recently for some odd reason. So, yeah. Bob?
And you know what?
Yes, sir.
Mustache, that illustrious mustache that he always presented himself, found it was fake.
Fake mustache?
Fake mustache. Nobody will tell you. Even History Channel don't know that. But I know some people who look like Russians. They've told me that. I know that.
That's fascinating. I would have never thought that of him.
I don't doubt it.
Not whatsoever. Bobby Dirkens. You can catch him right here on YouTube. And you get we just get a slice here. So you got to head on over to Bobby Dirkens' channel right here on YouTube. I can only imagine what the Dirkens household is like for big games, and especially the championship game here. So just knock yourself out. Have a great time. Enjoy it.
I will, and I tell you right now, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say this: I've had a lot of LSU. I've had some good LSU fans come on my side, and they believe in their team, and that's good. And then I've had some of the dumbest appear. It's like I was handing out free sandwiches to idiots, and they've shown up on my side with absolutely no respect for our team. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not that way. I believe Joe Burrow is the man. I believe Edwards-Helaire, if he is healthy, very dangerous young man, and I could go down the line with him. I've already praised LSU. But I come back to what I said before the Ohio State game. You have to consider the longevity, very big word for me, of the coaching staff of Clemson. And you have to consider how many players are returning from the national championship last year. And what I said at the beginning of this whole broadcast, this is half a decade in this thing for us. We have played against supposedly the greatest team of all time, and we dismantled them. Do I believe we're going to go blow out LSU by 28 points? No, I don't. But do I believe that it's going to be a great game in which we edge them out? Take it to the bank. You name the bank, take it to it. I believe we beat them in one of the greatest national championships college football's ever seen.
He's Bobby Dirkens. Not only do I learn football, I learn about the backwoods. I learn a little history as well. And now I've got a marketing plan that's not going to include giving out sandwiches to idiots here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Mark that off my list. We're not going there. Bobby, thank you so much for the insight, the information, and the guidance you've given us here.
Let me tell you right now, it said what on Spider-Man with what was it? With much promise or something. It has much responsibility or something like that. I always mess that statement up. My wife smacks me in the head and says, "Get it right." But I feel like it is my calling to offer what I know to the masses, because you know what happens when you put a light under a bushel? It catches on fire, and I don't want that happening here.
Give your gift to the world. Thank you so much, Bobby. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Go Tigers. Go Clemson Tigers.